So I'm just going to recap a few nuggets, a few moments, and hopefully tell a good story. And hopefully you can follow along and kind of hear what other people are going through, what they're struggling with, and what's working from others, even if you can't make the meetings. And so I think the struggle today was mothers going home to mothers and struggling. You know, if you go home and you're just ignored, you know, if you're caretaking someone, right? If you're caretaking your mom and you're just ignored by her, like you know what that brings up, right? This you're being ignored, so your needs aren't met, but then there could be guilt, like you know that you even have needs. There can be just so much stuff that comes up, making it horribly frustrating experience. Um, just all this stuff can come up, and so how you know that was a struggle that came up for someone, and how do we kind of work with that in a way that is connected and authentic and um, an appropriate response for us. And we kind of, I'd say we got into the second step a lot. So the first step is the journaling and the point of journaling is to feel, right? Because if we're thinking and we're not feeling, and so we journal, we feel, right? And so far I think everyone on the call was feeling. They were journaling and feeling. And this next step was kind of this little shift, because we got some new people, we got some experienced people, we got but this thing of imagination, it was really beautiful to witness today. Yeah, imagining. We talked about the meaning of inner kid, and does it need to be an inner child, or can you imagine a teenager? Can you imagine a god? Can you imagine a higher power? Can you imagine an adult self? Can you imagine an infant? So we kind of got into like how it doesn't need to be an inner child, but using some sort of imagination based on what you feel, right? So you're feeling frustration, you're feeling hopeless. If this thing you're imagining, inner child, teenager, a younger version of yourself, a higher power, if they were feeling that, right, imagination, how would you respond, right? How would you respond? And one woman was kind of just imagining. Well, one woman shared that when she was home with her mom, her inner child would be um, needing space, right? Needing space from her mom, and she was able to kind of give space from her mom, right? She's able to connect with her inner child. She's able to hear what her inner child needs. She's able to give space, and I think that comes with practice, and so that's she's been practicing for a while, and that's great. And so this other woman on the call kind of was imagining a little bit newer to this inner child work, this inner imagination work, I guess really, um, just imagining. Okay, here's what I feel when I'm with my mom, and then what's the image that kind of comes up from within, and this inner child being alone. And on the call, man, I think all of us were crying. I think all of us shed a little tear. Um, um, Her inner child, like what she would say to her inner child that she was feeling alone. If the inner child was feeling alone, I'm here for you. I'm here. I'm not gonna let you go. And we just hearing her express those words, it was just you could tell it was just so good. Um, um, so I think, yeah, I think connecting. Um, this is something I want to explore in this upcoming week, but the inner child, or whatever you imagine, whatever you connect to, just being something that you care for. I think, from my own experience, is like originally, I didn't think I was worthy of love. I thought I did hate myself. Like I didn't think I was worthy of love. I think that comes up for people. But the inner child, or whatever you care for, right? Something that you care for that's bigger than yourself. Um, you know, you can give the inner nurturance, you can give the support, you can give the presence, you can give the compassion, you can tap into your inner love for this, right? Maybe you're not there yet where you can love yourself yet, but can you imagine and connect to your feelings about if that inner child was feeling that way? What would you say, right? Because maybe if you're feeling crappy, you would say, "Oh, man up," or "Suck it up," or "Oh yeah, well, it doesn't matter. You have to be there for your mom anyways, so your feelings don't matter. Shut up," right? Maybe that's what you would say to yourself, but right? But would you say that to your inner kid, right? Would you say that to your higher power? Would you say that to a hurting teenager inside? You probably wouldn't. And I think the surprising thing is, for a lot of people, they realize they have this connection. They have this connection to themselves through their imagination, through their feelings, the imagination. They're able to connect, and they're able to care, and then they're able to offer words. They're able to kind of communicate. Um, so that was sort of a side topic, I think, that I've been rolling around in my head more and more. Like, does it need to be an inner child? And I don't think the answer is yes. I think it's something that you care for, that's beyond you. Um, you know, and certainly, people have many inner personalities. One woman on the call and another guy I work with, they both utilize that. They'll sometimes when they're feeling whatever, they'll imagine like a kid. Another time they'll imagine an 8-year-old self. Another time they'll imagine a 13-year-old self. Another time a young adult. Another time, so there's certainly, you can imagine different aspects of yourself, different personalities and ages, and these are all just ways to help people connect, right? Whatever helps you connect, whatever helps you care for that, right? When some people, they imagine their infant self feeling this way, that a genuine sense of outpouring of care and love, it goes forth and says, hey, what do you need, right? Because you don't need food, right? I mean, I think sometimes you need food, obviously we got to eat, but I think obviously, like, a lot of this times we're eating for something, right? We're eating for something else. We're eating for something, for some other reason, right? And what do you need instead of food? And that's a really hard answer to get to without this process, right? Like, if you try to logically answer that question, like, oh, I need, if you try to just think about it, it doesn't really work. But when you feel it, and then when you imagine this inner child or inner aspect of yourself feeling that way, and then your sense of genuine connection and compassion in your heart gets activated, and you say, okay, here's what this person, here's how I'd respond to this thing that I care for. Here's how I would connect with that. What does that person need? What does that thing need? And of course, this thing that you're imagining is you, but but um, so when we kind of go through this feeling, imagination, communication process, then we get to some real heartfelt answers that are authentic, that we can own, and that we can lean into, and that we can, like this woman, she got distance in a way that felt right. Because how many times has it been like, okay, I don't need, I need to take a bath, right? I'm feeling stressed. I need to take a bath. And then you take a bath or whatever, listen to music, self care, um, and then you still want the food, right? It didn't quite get deep enough. It didn't quite meet what you needed, and I just think that this process is so important. Um, so yeah, those are my thoughts. That's kind of some recaps, and look forward to continuing to grow and to show up. I hope you are as well. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. Namaste.